Doing good.
Good.
Yep.
Excellent. That's what I'm here to hear. Here to hear. Here to hear. All right. Well, okay. If you would, I've got a couple of candles here,
Yes, please. Yours are nicely visible.
and here, light, fire.
All right.
If you would.
So, we light these candles in recognition of and appreciation for the Christ-like within each of us and the presence of the divine in our gathering.
Amen. Hey there.
Thank you.
Like your wings up there, David. It looks nice.
Well, thank you.
Except it looks like your head has wings.
We talked about that Friday night.
It's a universal reaction.
I
doesn't fly out the door.
I still don't understand what the problem is with that. That my head has wings. These wings have special significance for me, and Patrick is certainly familiar with their history. They were above the stage on Spruce Street at Unity of Boulder when I first started attending, and being a front row kind of guy, I would be listening to Jack Groverland's talk, and I would just continue looking at these wings. I don't know, but they are an ancient Sumerian symbol for the wings of knowledge, the wings of insight. So the center section there is wisdom, and so wisdom takes flight.
You need to lower them about 8 inches.
8 inches, so that I'm more like this.
Yes.
Yes, there you go. They'll sit on your shoulders that way a lot better.
Well, I think it would be fair to say that people who know me know I'm not an angel, so probably that would be false advertising.
Come on, David. Really?
Oh, you're flying pretty high sometimes.
Yeah, well, that's due to alternative factors often. So let's see. If I can manage this properly, we can get over to
We befuddled you with the wings.
all right. Now, let's begin with, so does your uncertainty include joy? Some brief announcements. We are going to have a real estate team meeting tomorrow. It is going to be logistics. For those of you who read the newsletter this morning about the building sale update, just give you a quick recap, and that is that we were expecting the appraisal to be done last Thursday. It turns out that the appraiser, in doing the research on the property, found that the northeastern 6 feet of the parking lot was designated by FEMA in a flood zone, the 100-year floodplain. And I'm told that has no bearing on the value of the real estate, but the appraiser, being hired by the mortgage company, wants to cross the I's and dot the T's so that he can investigate and appropriately report that aspect of the property. Our insurance company has never charged us for flood insurance, nor did it come up in any prior conversations, investigations. So we're expecting that appraisal to be done on Wednesday, and that should not, it might, but it should not affect the closing date. So we continue. Tomorrow night we'll have a discussion on the 17th, 24th, and 31st. Now I need your feedback on this, because I'm going to need to either cancel the workshop or tell her to go ahead. We're going to do it. but Reverend Pat Venema is based in North Carolina. She's a 10-year student and instructor of spiral dynamics, which is a model that describes the evolution of consciousness on the individual level and the evolution of consciousness on a societal level. So that concept is enlightening. It is interesting to me. I'd love to see us do that, but I don't want to have a group of less than 5 people occupy Pat's time. So let me know if you want to participate.
Yes, I want to participate.
Let me know by email if you would, please. On Wednesday evening, we'll have a prayer circle and meditation, and then on Friday evening we'll have our TGIF. And of course, as I've said in the past, there's a couple of paragraphs over in the chat box, one referencing the request to give me a call if you have any desire for conversation or prayer time, or just want to discuss life and times. That information is there in the chat box. There's also a link to our online donation page in the chat box. You're certainly welcome to send a check. Send it to 7401 West 59th right now. That will be forwarded to me soon, I hope. You'll need to send those checks to my home address, but I'll put that up when we get there. So with that then, Maestro, if you would. And our affirmation of Living Water Unity. Living Water Unity is a thriving spiritual community inspired to embrace and share our abundant good now. I am empowered for joyful living by expressing God in each moment. And who would like to share the daily word with us this morning?
I can do it, David.
Okay.
Today's expression is appreciation. I am grateful for the good in my life. Today I take time to appreciate the abundance that surrounds me. I notice the beauty of the natural world, the talent and dedication behind the music and art that I enjoy, and the skill and commitment of the people who work to maintain a safe and orderly world. And the more I focus my attention on everything I have to appreciate in my life, the more I notice even more blessings. I am eager to share the gift of appreciation, so I give my full attention to someone I care about as we share a meal or a favorite activity or simply a quiet moment together. Feeling grateful for my life's blessings, I feel renewed appreciation for the love and the beauty that enriches my life. And our passage is from Luke 10:23. Then to the disciples, Jesus said to them privately, "Blessed are the eyes that see what you see."
Thank you.
The eyes that behold.
And our affirming prayer, we will begin with this prayer that is being shared among many unity ministries across the country, around the world. And as we finish this prayer, I'll ask you for your individual prayer requests. As we offer that prayer request, we'll have a time of consideration by the whole community of that prayer. But in that time, if you would, as a participant in the community, if you would focus not on what needs to be changed other than consciousness itself. And the intent of the prayer then is to offer an opportunity for each of us to offer unconditional love to that which is being prayed for, and for the prayer, the person offering the prayer. So the intention then is to imbue that requested prayer with unconditional love. So we know that God is a love that has no end and a power that knows no bounds. God's healing power of divine life is restoring, healing, and revitalizing our world in this very moment. We let go of any fears or anxieties, and we affirm that all are safe, healthy, and protected. We bless all those who support us in maintaining vibrant, radiant health. We express divine life in all we think, say, and do. We bless our global family with radiant health, peace of mind, and abundant love. And if you would, as you offer your prayer, be sure to unmute yourself, and I invite you to offer your prayers now.
I'd like to offer a prayer for my father, Keith Sanders, for diminishing dementia and a closer relationship with God. I'd also like to offer a prayer for one of my clients' mother, whose name is Gail, who is in the hospital right now and with a heart condition, and he can't go visit her. So I'm just holding her in the light as well. And then again, I want to hold a prayer for this whole world and just see it surrounded in God's love and God's light, and an end to this pandemic and more peace in this world.
Let us begin with a prayer for Keith and holding Keith in unconditional love. And so it is. And the prayer for Gail. And so it is. And the prayer for the planet. And so it is.
I'd like to offer a prayer for blessing and safety for those who are doing the census, which is so important to our country. May they be safe, and may they complete this task in a timely manner.
And so it is.
I pray that we can all easily manage and sustain our intentions, our good intentions.
And so it is. I'd like to offer a prayer for Bert, who is going through a 3-week antibiotic treatment in a rehab center. Again, not able to receive any visitors, but seeing him progressing through that antibiotic regimen with great success. And so it is.
I would like to offer thankfulness and thanksgiving, a prayer of thanksgiving for having a negative COVID test that I just got the results of Friday, and also for the fact that right now in my life, none of my friends and family have health needs they're all good, and I praise that.
And so it is.
So it is.
I would like to offer a prayer for safe travels for my granddaughter, who is moving to Lubbock, Texas, to attend school, her first year in college.
Her name is Sydney.
And so it is.
I'd like to offer prayers for the good friendships and the healthy family that I have, and also prayers for continued safety and health for my dad, Dan.
And so it is.
I'd like to offer thanks as well as prayer and guidance as we finish the process of selling our church property, that we make wise decisions, that all of the negotiations are beneficial to the parties involved.
And so it is.
I'd like to offer just lift people up that have the anxiety of COVID and the lasting effects on their health lifelong. May you give them peace in their walk. Thank you.
And so it is. and for all of those on the front line that are helping maintain our health, well-being, safety. We see them protected. We see them enlivened. And we give thanks. And so it is that together we say, Amen. Well, I'd like to share with you some music. This is, oh yeah, it certainly is. Well, let me pull that up again. Well, it was there just a bit ago. Hang on just a second. Let me draw upon it.
Did it fly away with those wings?
You know, it best I can figure. All right. Interesting. My Google is not showing me. That's very strange, and I'm not sure that that's a good thing. Wow. Sometimes you just have to say, gee, that's interesting. That's a lot more there it is. Wow. Okay. This is Lauren Shealy. It turns out that she's performing a piece by Ricky Byers, who is with Agape. Lauren Shealy is performing this down at Mile High. So. Excuse me. So I have a question for you. Was that sufficiently loud? Were you able to hear that okay?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
The
That's fine.
the volume was something that I was concerned about. I was not getting a loud volume on my side. So we have we've been talking about the book written by Susan Jeffers, the Embracing Uncertainty, and it's interesting that as I do research on these talks, I suddenly have these realizations. Oh my God! And so here's confession time. Okay, this comes from not from my past of Catholic history, because I've never been a Catholic, but it's time for confession. It's good for the soul. I've been doom scrolling. How many of you have been doom scrolling? Do you know what I mean by doom scrolling? That's you get up, you get your cup of coffee, you find your reading material, whatever that is. For me, it's my phone, and I go to the newspapers that I'm subscribed to, and I start looking for articles. And the articles that catch my attention are the oh my gods. The oh my gods, oh, not again, right? Or, oh man, what is that going to do to, whatever. So I have this habit, which I'm confessing so that I can break this habit. I have this habit of doom scrolling. And what that does is that puts my consciousness into this mode, into this sense that if I'm not careful, I'm going to find myself in a sense, in a consciousness of seeing everything as an outgrowth of all of that bad news that I have been absorbing. And so there, Susan Jeffers talks about the opportunity to take she doesn't refer to it as a doom scrolling, but to take that practice and use those oh my gods as a means of seeing how I might be able to contribute something positive. She gives us several exercises that we'll look at, but we've all had this experience of finding ourselves with this terrible news, whatever that terrible news might be. It might be something personal, but it might be something that's very impersonal, that is out there. And I find myself dropping into this state, oh my God, I've got to do something. But the problem is that I don't have a whole lot of resources that I can change a headline in the Washington Post, or that I can change the subject matter that is being referred to in Facebook posts or whatever. At least in Facebook, I have the opportunity to respond, but oftentimes I'm responding not in a way that is going to help lift up, but it's rather a more of a criticism. And as a Unity minister, I've got to tell you that is, oh man, what am I doing? I'm not paying attention to what I am teaching. So we've heard the aphorism of the Society of Friends that when you pray, move your feet. And that, to me, that implies that as I am praying for something, I need to also be doing something. The challenge is knowing what to do. So if I'm not able to do something effective to rectify the situation, I find myself in an increased level of stress. And that increased level of stress actually has a detrimental effect on my body, because there's this hormone cortisol that is emitted as our stress increases. Cortisol is a very useful hormone. Don't get me wrong. It keeps us ready to respond should danger approach us. And thank God for the activity of cortisol, because I'm sure that I would not be here if my ancestors had not had the very effective response to danger, which is facilitated by these hormones coursing through our bodies. And at the same time, it causes us an increased level of stress, which is detrimental. That chronic stress is detrimental to our bodies. There's in the 30s, there was a movement among psychologists, both clinical psychologists and academic psychologists, that were interested in the dynamics of consciousness. And it was the seeds were being sown in that time period for what became positive psychology, but that actually didn't arise until the 60s and 70s. But in the 30s, there was an enterprising psychologist, I think he was with Harvard, that went to a group of young nuns and had them write journals of their experiences, their life experiences, whatever they were, basically asking them to have a diary of their day-to-day. And that became the foundation for what turned out to be one of the largest longitudinal studies. Longitudinal study is one that evolves over time, whereas a latitudinal study is a study of current situation. So a longitudinal study, this one lasted for 50 years. Actually, the study didn't last for 50 years, but after 50 years, another group of enterprising psychologists collected those diaries, those journals, and started codifying what was in those diaries to find out of this 180 young nuns in the 30s, what transpired in their life, digitizing it basically, and then noticing that the journals that reflected more positive thoughts, more positive experiences, the journal entries that were, or the journals that had a preponderance of reflections upon appreciation, our daily word today, reflections upon the joys of life, reflections upon all of those happy moments that occurred in the lives of the nuns, that they found that in this study, let me share with you the document or the recap by Sean Aker. Sean Aker is one of the positive psychologists that has offered. Oh, there we go. So he recapped this, saying the nuns whose journal entries had more overtly joyful content lived nearly 10 years longer than the nuns whose entries were more negative or neutral. By the age of 85, 90% of the happiest quartile, the happiest 25% of nuns, were still alive, compared to only 34% of the least happy quartile. Clearly, the nuns who were happy at 20 didn't feel that way because they knew they were going to live longer. Their superior health and longer lifespans could only be the result of their happiness, not the cause. Now, that's an interesting observation to make, that as we move through our lives, if our focus is on the oh my gods, we are setting ourselves up for a short life. If our focus is on the appreciation, our focus is on the good things, the joyful things, the wonder of life, then we are allowing our bodies to to age more casually, shall we say, or age more modestly, that a longer life is provided. So that goes back to the adverse effects of cortisol and stress on our bodies. So the idea then is that if we are willing to take advantage of our choices in how we doom scroll, convert the doom scroll into a happiness scroll, it's positively effective. There is a scripture of various traditions talk about the importance of having joy, and I'd like to share with you that idea. This one comes from the Bhagavad Gita. Now, I shared with you last week the Bhagavad Gita, or part of it, and in chapter 3, Krishna is talking to Arjuna, and he's saying to Arjuna, every selfless act is born from Brahman, the eternal, the infinite Godhead. Brahman is present in every act of service. All life turns on this law, O Arjuna. Those who violate it, indulging the senses for their own pleasure and ignoring the needs of others, have wasted their life. But those who realize the self are always satisfied. Having found the source of joy and fulfillment, they no longer seek happiness from the external world. They have nothing to gain or lose by any action. Neither people nor things can affect their security. So the reflection that is offered, or the wisdom that is offered in this passage of Krishna speaking with Arjuna, is that if we want to increase our joy, then we can use the avenue of selfless service as the means of providing that. But we also have, in the New Testament, we have a number of passages. This first one is from Luke, chapter 6, 27 to 31. And Jesus is speaking to his disciples. He says, "But I say to you that listen, love your enemies, do good to those who hate you, bless those who curse you, pray for those who abuse you. If anyone strikes you on the cheek, offer the other also. And from anyone who takes away your coat, do not withhold your shirt. Give to everyone who begs from you, and if anyone takes away your goods, do not ask them for them again. Do to others as you would have them do to you." So that's in Luke, and that is attributed to the teachings of Jesus. But we have other books also in the New Testament that are attributed to Paul and to other disciples. But we have in Philippians chapter 2, verses 3 and 4. "Instead of being motivated by selfish ambition or vanity, each of you should, in humility, be moved to treat one another as more important than yourself. Each of you should be concerned not only about your own interests, but about the interests of others as well." And from Galatians 5, chapter 5, verse 13, "For you, brothers, were called to freedom. Only do not turn your freedom into an opportunity to gratify your flesh, but through love make it your habit to serve one another." So in these passages that are offered by Scripture, we see that there is ample opportunity, ample tools for us to find the joy in our life, and that avenue of experiencing joy can come from selfless service. So we individually have the opportunity, and collectively we have the opportunity to bring more joy into our communities through our acts of selfless service and through the encouraging of others also to participate. So I know some of you have had the opportunity and take the opportunity to practice this act of selfless service. I'd like you to share with me some of your experiences.
Now, David, Didn't Jesus say something about when you do well, when you do good, don't talk about it so much, and don't toot your own horn, so to speak. And
So you're saying you don't want to share the many opportunities that you have demonstrated for the realization of joy. Is that what you're saying?
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
Jesus was not aware of Zoom, and
I think what Pam is saying is don't be boastful, and we've been told that. So it's hard to just discuss what we do when it sounds like that.
that's an interesting point. And so Pam and Sandy, I'm glad that you brought that up. The practice of sharing your experiences does not have to be boastful. It can be you can share the circumstances without saying, look at me, aren't I great? But rather sharing an experience and saying, what effect does it have on me? What is that opportunity of sharing with someone who is in need? What effect did that have on me? And that's what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for, I would say that every one of us in this community has had the experience of selfless service. And what I'm asking for you is to share what that internal experience was when you did that. It's not about boasting, but rather it's about sharing your own experience and how that affected your life.
Well, then I'll say one thing, that there can be little things that you can do for others that will change someone's whole day or even their whole life. And afterwards, I have felt it was, when I've done such little things, I felt like it was nothing huge for me, but the gratitude given to me was immense. And I think doing one small thing like giving the $1 when someone needs that at the counter to get their meal or something like that, it makes me feel like, oh, that was just a little thing, and little things can make a huge difference for other people. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can share something very similar. I remember quite a while ago, I was finding a lot of 4-leaf clovers. I just had that knack for finding them. Not recently, but a while back. And one time I had one, and we were talking to a fellow, and he just seemed in a campground. He seemed kind of be down on himself and whatever. I forget what the circumstances were, but I gave him a 4-leaf clover, and I said, here, maybe this will help you get, what?
Change your day.
Change your day. And he was so grateful for that. Such a little thing. And he said, that will help me a lot, or something similar to that. He really appreciated the thought. I'm also going to share what Janine does all the time. And since she's not here, I'd like to speak for her, if that's okay. Mm-hmm. She paints rocks. And my sweetheart of a little daughter she's so giving. And she started painting these rocks because a friend of mine does it. And she puts animals on them, and she puts little slogans like love you or friends or whatever. And we spray them, and she's gotten me to do some of them too. And then we scatter them around. We take a walk around the lake. She said she put some in the book box down by the school where she goes. She'll scatter them in a park. And she's giving of herself this little thing. She gave one to her boss yesterday, and I thought, well, that's different. But she said it was one with flowers, and she said he really liked it. You know, if it gives somebody a smile for a couple of minutes, that's a wonderful gift. Just in that, the little things.
You know, our experience is really a reflection of the cascade of our thoughts. And sometimes our thoughts are cascading down this gully that is going to lead us to depression. Other cascades and other gullies are going to lead us to that sense of expansiveness. And so as Janine was offering her gifts to an individual, for that moment, it can shift their cascade of thoughts into that gully that is going to lead them to happiness and fulfillment. And of course, each of us have the opportunity to choose which cascade of thoughts we're going to focus on. But as you point out, it may be just for a moment, or it may be a significant shift of, wow, think about that. Somebody has given me something because they feel that I'm important, or I have found this, and this is such a wonderful gift that I have found here on the ground, this painted rock. Yeah. I wonder what that person was thinking when they painted that, right? And so that cascade of thought becomes one where we are, as Susan Jeffers refers to, we are building ourselves a positive bubble. We are shifting our perceptions in such a way that, wow, there really is wonder and joy in this world instead of depression and trauma. So, yeah, those simple gifts. Some other simple gifts. What?
Yeah, I've got one.
Yeah.
I was yesterday digging through files to thin them down, something I just hate to do. And I had put together a box of projects to archive, things I'd worked on, and I thinned them down and tossed them in there with the file folder name. And I ran across a project that some people here would remember. A number of years ago, we did a food project. And what I did is we would distribute an order form to everyone in the congregation, and they could order fruits or vegetables. And we would go purchase them, and then the following Sunday we would distribute them. We had volunteers that would help us. We put down these big long tables and would help us distribute the food, put them in bags. And also the other interesting thing about it is when people forgot to pick up their bags or decided not to, we would bring them to a women's shelter, which is just down the road from where I live. At any rate, it was a fun project, an interesting one. And the only person that witnessed the story I'm going to tell you is David Cowles, who was then my housemate, who's no longer with the congregation, who's now living in Illinois. So at any rate, I would get on the phone with Miller Farms, which is a local grower that's been growing vegetables since the 40s, and I would talk with them about what was current and reasonably priced, and we would place this order. And then David and I on Saturday would go over to Miller Farms' farm stand, which, was basically, excuse me, I'm froggy today, this farm stand where they had all their vegetables. And we would pick out the stuff on our list, and we had to bring 2 vehicles because there was so much food that it completely filled my SUV, and there was no place to sit. So David brought his car so he could drive back. So what we started doing is we would take all the food and we'd put all the cases and the boxes and the bags in this huge pile, right on the ground before we'd load it. Put everything there, and then we'd check off the list. And then I started, after we got the food in the pile, that David and I would go over and we would do a prayer over the food to bless everyone who was going to receive the food. And so David and I went over there, and I started the prayer, and suddenly a whole bunch of people just started showing up. I don't know, I guess I thought something interesting was going on. So they all joined us in the prayer. And, I don't remember the specifics of the prayer, but it was basically what I just said, that everyone who would eat the food would receive divine love and blessings. And as I reached the end of the prayer, an energy came over me, so intense and so profound, I almost fell to the ground. I actually had to lean forward and support my weight with the boxes that were in front of me. So, that's the story. I thought I'd share it with you. Thank you.
We felt it. We felt it, Jeff. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm... Thank you. So these small acts have a profound effect. And the choices that we make as we go through the morning news, as we encounter the experiences of our day-to-day, we have the opportunity to transform that which seems negative into that which is a blessing. And Jeff, thank you so much for that sharing. And Sandy, thank you for sharing Janine's story. And Pam, thank you. We have Susan offers us several exercises. She talks about seeing, when we see the negative, to look for what is positive about it. Diffusing the bad news, she speaks of. She talks about looking for the good in the situation. Gosh, we had the Beirut tragedy this last weekend. And over the course of the week, we've heard about acts of heroism and acts of kindness. There's certainly much to be concerned about with that tragedy, and at the same time, we can see that as the people of Beirut came together to help one another, very inspiring. When we see danger, look for the joy. We are evolutionarily programmed to be responsive to the saber-toothed tigers, to the fellow with the club in a raised position. And we can, at the same time, we can share or we can experience the joy that is there. If nothing else, then the joy of me being observant to see these things and to be able to respond to these things. She talks about transforming the drive to avoid to be to a drive to engage. And that gets back to the Society of Friends. When you pray, move your feet. And then she offers this practice of radical smiling, to be quick with a smile, to greet people with a smile. You never know what effect a smile is going to have on someone who is passing you on the street or someone that you see in the grocery store. It's difficult with the mask to offer that smile, but you can raise your hand, you can, tip your hat, you can, some I'm not very good at it, but some have suggested that a wink is a substitute for a smile. I'm not quite sure of that. It might be considered a come on by some people that you wink to, but nonetheless, we have the opportunity to just offer a greeting, good day. So we have in our day-to-day, we have the opportunity to choose to be the messengers of hope, to be the messengers of joy, to be the messengers of empowerment. And that is truly a choice that we can make regardless of the circumstances. So I ask you to look for the opportunities to be that which lifts rather than depresses, to be that which empowers rather than that which disempowers, to be that messenger of joy in your life and help it spread to those around you. I'd like to spend a few minutes, and Maestro, if you could give me some accompaniment as we settle into this sacred space defined by our choosing that this moment, that this position in which we are located is sacred. As we settle into this time and into this space, we take a few relaxing breaths. As we breathe in this vitality that is offered to us in each breath. And as we breathe out, we release that which no longer serves us. The baggage that we are hanging on to. The adverse thoughts, the negative thoughts, we let that go. We choose in this moment to be in a positive frame of mind. Breathing in and breathing out. Acknowledging that in this moment we can choose. And so in this moment, let us recall that moment, that wonderful connecting moment where joy was the result of perhaps our actions, perhaps the result of someone else's actions. But when we found that joy, when we had that experience of joy, remember what it felt like. Remember the energy of swelling of the chest, that sense of connecting with the all that is all, which includes our neighbors, strangers, people that we love. What is that feeling, that sense of joy that comes from that selfless service? That sense of joy that arises when we have a positive interaction, when we see that we have somehow positively affected someone else. What is that joy? And when you feel that feeling, allow it to expand to every corner of your consciousness. Allow it to transform the dark corners into brightness, light. Allow it to illuminate the shadows. Allow it to be a transforming experience for you now. This experience is one that we can all have anytime. Regardless of where our cascade of thoughts is leading us right now, we can decide to shift to that cascade of positivity, that cascade of joy, that cascade of happiness, fulfillment, empowerment. We can use these recollections of past experiences of joy and empowerment to remember, to enlist in that activity of joy again. And for the realization that this remembering is a means of reliving, of bringing joy into this moment. we give thanks. And as we come back into this time, into this space, I'd like to share with you a piece that is offered to us by, let's see, do we have it? Not immediately available, but it's coming. This is an opportunity for you to forgive me. This is a piece by, come on, there we go. This is a piece by Karen Drucker.
Say thank you, thank you, thank you, 'cause I'm so grateful, oh grateful, I'm so grateful. So I want to say thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. Thank you for my friends, Spirit, thank you for my friends. Thank you for my friends, Spirit, thank you for my friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. Now thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. I want to say thank you. Thank you. I want to say thank you. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you. 'Cause I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. So grateful. So grateful. So grateful. I'm so grateful. So grateful. I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you. Yes, thank you. Thank you. I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you. Thank you. Thank you. 'Cause I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I want to just say thank you now. Just thank you now. 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 Each and every day I'm gonna say thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
So, for those of you who would like to make a contribution this morning, I'll share with you our offering blessing. Together, please. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I give in love because I trust in God. And Maestro, if you would. And together, the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Today's candle blessing.
And, Kay, if you would. The dousing of our candle. And there you go.
There I am.
Yep.
Okay. As we prepare to release our circle and extinguish this flame, we honor the divine light it represents, and we carry that light within us into the world to protect us, to illuminate us, and to guide our actions.
Thank you.